when really I think the solution is to talk to your child.
Right. How many hours of babysitting could you get instead of buying that toy?
You
You
don't
don't decide
decide.
your kids' core memories.
This is insane. Welcome to Frugal Friends. My name is Jen,
My name is Jill.
and spending on kids is out of control. I I
You
don't even,
know? Do you
I know. I'm actively trying to not overspend and to not succumb to social media, and I am feeling it.
Yeah.
And it is never more present than on TikTok and Instagram.
I don't have children, so I'm a little bit more of an observer of this and feel like I have seen it get crazier and crazier. But I also experience it myself when it comes to my nieces and nephews. Like I can say all the things.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to their birthdays or the holidays, I'm like, Spendy
Well, the
McSpenderson.
aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas can
That's
do
our
that.
role.
Right.
Mhm.
That is your
Our
job.
prerogative.
As parents, it's not our job, right? So how did it get out of control? And we're going to trace it back with receipts and try to help you say no to some of these assumptions that have just become normalized for no reason. All right, so let's start with, is there any data to support that parents are overspending on their kids? And there is.
Absolutely.
Or at least there's data to support that parents feel like they're overspending on their kids, which is super important because if you have the money and you want to spend loads of it on your kids, or even if you don't have the money and you want to spend a high percentage of your income on your kids, then that's fine. That's your prerogative. The problem comes is when we feel like we're overspending on our kids. That's when you feel like I don't want to spend this much, but I'm like being pressured to spend this much, or like socially, this is what everybody is spending, or at least I feel like it's what everyone's spending. That's the issue.
Which then in turn goes with feeling like I've got too much in the house. I'm accumulating too much. Those two things can often go hand in hand
Mhm.
as well for parents. And so, yeah, it's money, it's taking up space that we don't want it to take up. So how do we rein it back in? But it was interesting that there's a survey done by Ameriprise Financial of 3,000 American parents with at least one child aged 0 to 30 years old. And they reported 72% of them experience parental guilt and 35% feeling like they need to be the perfect parent. And that a lot of this then led to some of that overspending, increased spending on their children, from 43% feeling like they overspent on a singular item or an experience, kind of out of some of this parental guilt or wanting to be this perfect parent. 33% doing something for their kids that exceeded the initial budget. Like we said, it was going to be one thing, but by the end of it, we spent way more than we said. And 44% saying that their number one source of financial stress is the desire to give their children the best life possible and associating that with spending more.
And it's this feeling of like having to be perfect that makes you feel insecure. And if we've said it once, we've said it 528 times because this is our 528th episode, that insecurity makes you spend more. Marketers' goal is to make you feel insecure so that you want to solve that insecurity and you spend money to do so. And that's a big reason why people are maybe delaying or not having kids. So we've seen this stat that the total cost of raising a child often does exceed 250 to 300,000. And that's not like that is widely known, right? Raising a child is expensive. Like we're not going to minimize that and say
It's
like,
not zero, it's not
right.
nothing.
We're not going to sit here and say like this is how you can raise a child for $50,000 instead of $300,000. But I think that we can shave a lot off because we don't get into parenting to like buy the best toys or to do all the best experiences and all of this stuff. Like when we get into parenting, like We feel responsibility to be able to like provide a home for our child, provide for college potentially, provide like safety and stability. And so much of that comes through financial stability, like owning a home if that's what you want to do, paying for college, paying for your own retirement so your kid doesn't have to be responsible for you. Like these are the things we truly want. And then we get caught up
Mhm.
in the little stuff that we see meeting these like short-term insecurities.
Yeah, and even in the places where we could say no to ourselves, it is way harder to say no to somebody else who is dependent on you and who you want to provide good experiences to, who it can be difficult to say no to. And even if you don't even care about all that, you might just do it to avoid a tantrum, and that can add up too.
Oh, I have spent so much money to avoid tantrums. Also, not going to tell you how to avoid that. If you have any advice for that in the comments, I personally would love to hear that. But sometimes that happens.
We are seeing so many times, though, people, especially in our age bracket and even younger, saying, I'm not having children for this reason. Like
Mhm.
it's going to cost too much.
Yeah. Kids are great. And like having kids is great, not having kids is great. But ultimately, and I feel this like even with like infertility, that finances should never be a factor in you not being able to have kids if you want kids. So
Mhm.
like even if if you're like whatever your income is, like I think, and this I guess is an opinion, but you should be able to have kids if you want them.
Yeah, unfortunately, our society isn't totally set up for that to be reality, but we
Right.
think it should be possible.
Right. And so like in an ideal world, it would be, but it's not. And so like the best things we can do is de-influence you from things that aren't necessary. And so we have asked ChatGPT where are the three places that parents spend most on their children. And we are going to talk about the three that are optional, or at least the amount you spend on them is optional.
But first, this episode is brought to you by Polly Pockets. You remember them. They were like the best pocket size, travel size toy of the 90s. So cute, so
So
compactable,
cute.
so miniature. I took them everywhere with me. Doctor's office, yup. Sibling soccer tournament, yup. I
You were
made a
not cool unless you had a Polly Pocket.
Oh, yeah.
You weren't.
And all the stories and scenarios you could make up with just that one little figurine and her dog.
She back now.
Yeah, but they're bigger. They're not as pocket
No,
size.
no, they brought back the little
The
ones.
ti
My
they were
hairdresser has
this
one.
big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, perfect. I still have my old ones, the Polly Pockets. If you too are super interested in travel size, pocket size, miniature, cutesy things, then you're gonna love our spending planner spreadsheet because it is mobile optimized, meaning it can fit into your pocket size, travel size phone. We know you
Bam.
have one. Whether you're just starting out in your budgeting journey or you are ready to really level up your financial game, we've created this all in one annual spending planner spreadsheet. So it's got 20 tabs, including an annual dashboard, a 12-month budget tab, a bill calendar, savings goal tracker, debt snowball tracker, and some of our favorites, which is an opportunity cost calculator. So you can see in real time how some of those small choices you're making impact long term goals. That'll be real good at the store
You
with your
can you
kids.
can go in and put in the price of that monster truck
Huh?
and see what it could grow to if you had invested in an S&P 500 index fund.
It's so dangerous and so
And
perfect.
you can show it to your child and
Yes, and
and
convince them they should be investing instead.
instead they should want more of the
Yes.
S&P 500,
Your 5-year-old will
not the
totally get
monster
it.
truck. Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
Frugalfriendspodcast.com/budget. That'll get you that.
Mhm. So, monster trucks aside, there are countless ways we can overspend on our
Mhm.
kids. And it's, let's start with monster trucks.
Yeah. The
Uh,
toys are a big one.
yeah, it's so when we looked at some of the data, I don't know, but after stripping out shelter, food, and other essentials that remain, that there's roughly 150,000 to 160,000 of quote unquote discretionary purchases that we make for our kids. So obviously, we don't want to cut out 100% of that, but how can we cut out as much of that as possible while still giving our kids the best life possible and still enjoying our lives as much as possible?
That's
Because
important too.
also, like, nobody really talks about like the cost of babysitting too, which we are not including in here. But like, how can I afford more babysitting? Is the real it's problem we're trying to
That
solve
needs to
here.
be the opportunity cost calculator within the spending planner spreadsheet is how many hours of babysitting could you get instead of buying that toy?
Yeah.
It's great.
So let's start with toys. According to our research, thank you, the deep research feature of ChatGPT, the one that just uses a little extra
Mm.
time and scanning of the internet. One of the biggest non essential places we spend is toys and just stuff in general. So many toys, in fact, some people have whole rooms for them.
And some of them look so cute. I'm not going to lie. In scouring the internet, there are some that are super aesthetically pleasing. And I am. My adult brain is like, yeah, I want to go shop at that fake store. But when the kid is in there, that's not what it actually looks like.
You know that
They're not playing like, oh, yeah, this is.
I fight the maternal urge once a season to throw out every toy
Uh-huh.
and just leave like one. And right now, it would be, and nobody's going to understand this, but I bought Kai a DJ set for his sixth birthday.
Mhm.
So he could be a DJ. And Atlas actually plays with it. And having the little 2-year-old put his sunglasses on and like DJ, it's also a Bluetooth speaker.
That's very
It's
fun,
the
but it sounds
highlight of
so loud.
it is so loud. But I was like, I'm just going to throw away every single toy and like keep the DJ set because I hate myself. But yes, they are everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, part of the problem is the overstimulation that it can lead to, both for parents and for kids. Like, kids are not immune to feeling overstimulated. They just might show it in some different ways, but a more cluttered environment makes it harder for us to self regulate and make good decisions. And same for kids. When there are too many options for what to play with, it becomes really overwhelming for them and it doesn't provide the environment for creativity and problem solving, and it's not good for anybody, and yet somehow we all still just like hoard it all and have multiple playrooms, and
Yeah, and
it's insane.
even for those, like, I don't have a playroom. I just
Mhm.
like we have a toy box and some bins with toys, right? And like one of the things that influencers and marketers will use to like make you feel insecure so that you're buying more toys is like having them help your child's developing brain because it develops the most in like the first 2 or 5 years. I don't even know, like, at this point, they say it's like whatever they're trying to sell is when your child's brain is developing the most. And so they're like, buy this toy. It helps your child's developing brain. And in reality, overstimulation can overwhelm that child's developing brain and hinder it because it makes it hard to focus on like the toys that you already have.
Yeah.
And so it's just another example of how there is a problem. The problem is legitimate, and people are trying to sell you the solution when the solution cannot be bought.
Right. Like this video example that we have next for you where yeah, we're overstimulated. We have too much. How do we reduce it? Here you go. You could buy it.
Here are the 5 toddler toys I will never buy as a Montessori mom. Talking electronic toys like this that are supposed to promote language only teach your toddler how to push a button. Battery operated toys like that don't have moving mouths that can show them how to pronounce new words. You're better off getting animal figurines and playing with them together. I will never buy.
Okay, that's not what I thought was going to be the solution to that toy. First, I have that toy. I have that for both of my boys have had that
The
toy.
talking one, the
Yeah,
talking plushie.
the one that talks, but its mouth doesn't move.
Mhm.
And so I thought it was going to be like a Furby. Like I thought that was going to be the solution.
Uh-huh.
So the fact that the solution is not one, but like actually multiple toys
Huh.
that whose mouths don't move.
Yeah.
when really I think the solution is to talk to your child.
Right. Yeah.
I just I just wanted to
Instead of this one singular plush toy, get 20 of these animal figurines.
nightmare, actually. Nightmare fuel.
I do love animal figurines, though. I do think they're cute. Okay. But wait, there's more.
Them together. I will never buy my toddler a fake vacuum, a fake washing machine, a fake dishwasher. This is just clutter that you don't need and your toddler doesn't really want. They want to be involved with the real thing. Get them a real dustpan and broom or a working mini vacuum. Let them help you load and unload the dishwasher. They want to contribute meaningfully, not with this fake stuff.
Okay, tell me that photo isn't photoshopped. Is it not?
It is
That
Photoshop,
is
100%.
that is not real. But yeah, but I honestly, I will agree with her. Give your child something to clean up the house with. Give them a tiny vacuum.
That one I do love.
I love that one, actually.
Make it useful.
Yeah.
Like if they want to be helpful, let them actually be helpful.
10 out of 10, no notes.
You also don't need this electronic learning desk with 200 learning spots. This just looks overwhelming and overstimulating to me as an adult. Much better off with a simple wooden table that'll grow with your child that you can have snacks or activities on. You also don't need electronic flashy instruments like these. Kids need real quality instruments, like this percussion drum that they can wail on or a maraca that they can shake. It's a great way to get their energy out and their creativity.
Nope.
Lastly, I will never buy my toddler a tablet for educational apps. Don't get me wrong, we sometimes use screen time as a tool in our home. Please don't be fooled by these educational apps to teach colors, language, or shape. Toddlers learn best through tangible experiences. So if you want to teach shapes, get a shape sorter. Want to teach colors? Point out the different colors of the shapes. If you want to see what I got my toddler for Christmas, check out my holiday gift guide linked in my, and follow for more.
Linked in, she can't even say bio because the algorithm doesn't like that. And ultimately the whole video was to sell you her recommendations. And none of her recommendations were bad.
Yeah.
Like, buy your kid a vacuum, 10 out of 10, no notes. But none of the original ones were bad either.
Yeah, I think there is something, though, to poke a hole in here in that some of the alternatives were just more aesthetically pleasing. It's not, the kid doesn't need this table. It's the kid needs this more simple, beautiful table. It's not that they don't need this toy, it's that they need these toys that might just be more pleasing to the eye. And so I think that's where we need to keep a pulse on. Is the replacement just something else I'm spending money on? Or is there some real intentionality here? And there are some good points that she makes. Like, I think that an overly stimulating toy might not be the best thing for a 2-year-old, but it also doesn't mean that the alternative needs to be purchased. Like, it could just be that they sit at the table with you and like that, or they sit on the ground. Like, that is a possibility as well. You don't have to buy these percussion instruments. You can put a plastic bowl upside down and give them a wooden spoon.
Amen.
Or nothing, because it's really loud.
It is so loud. I took Kai to this arts and crafts, like it's just like an open craft hour at the craft center. And I had this, a mom with her 2 kids, and who I assume she was a teacher, but I guess over the summer, a nanny, because the kid who she was with was not her. She said it was not hers. And this woman is talking about where she's teaching, and I did not get the names of any of it, but my kid's in public school, and that works for me. But like for these people, they were like bashing private schools, and they were just, it was, every school had something wrong with it. It didn't have enough, or it had too much, to where I think they ended up just going to school in nature is what I gathered from that conversation I was eavesdropping with. But like, I think that's very similar to like what we're seeing with like toys, especially with Montessori. I've never heard more about anything in my life other than like Montessori since becoming a mom, and just making people feel like this stuff is overstimulating. Like, we should have all wood, all light color wood stuff, and one stackable rainbow.
In like the grayish,
Yes.
grayish beige.
For some reason, and I've never
Muted
taken the
color
time.
tone.
I've never taken the time to research why, But I will say Montessori has it right with the indoor climbing gyms. I am looking
Mhm.
into getting one of those for Atlas
Yeah.
because he climbs everything and it's unsafe.
Yeah. I will say the one thing too that I'm drawn to still a little bit as an observer from the outside, I think there is something to it does matter that you also enjoy your own home environment. So buying your kids toys that are also not going to be a huge headache or eyesore for you does matter.
Mhm.
So I can see wanting some things to be aesthetic. If you're already going to buy them a toy, then might as well be something that you also don't mind looking at
Mhm.
as well. So, but again, I think we don't always have to be spending on all of these things. And so
Right.
some of the alternatives that we think could be really useful are doing some toy swaps with friends and neighbors. So setting up an exchange with other families who have youngsters of a similar age, or maybe even those who are a little bit older, and doing a swap with one another where you're not spending money, but also you're able to get the toys where they're able to say, yeah, when my kid was 5, he really loved this. So hopefully yours does too. And you kind of get that inside scoop.
This is a hack when you can identify, like when you're done having kids, you can like shortly afterwards identify a newborn baby and be like, you're getting all of our
Everything.
stuff when we are done with it. And it's got to be a firstborn though. Don't do that to
Someone
a
having their
second or
third
third.
kid.
Don't, they will disown you. But that is such a hack and it fosters community too, because you're maintaining relationships with other moms and moms who have either, and if this is your first, reaching out to some of these moms and being like, hey, I will be your younger mom.
Mhm.
Like, offload your stuff on me. Because then you also have like wisdom and insight from somebody who's in the trenches and is a little further along than you.
I also love this idea of rotating your own stash. I could see that being easier said than done, or maybe a solution for people with younger kids. Like as you get toys given to you, putting that away and only having a couple of toys at a time. And then as they get bored and maybe wanting something else, that's when you pull the next one from the closet and kind of maybe operate, if you can, on a one in, one out
Hmm.
situation. And I think too, we build habits. So if that is something that you do as they're younger, maybe it would be even easier to do and cultivate with them as they start to grow.
Yeah. Buy nothing groups are great for kids' toys and clothes. Some libraries have toy lending libraries. So we just got, it's not a toy, but I was checking out at the library and I saw this like big, clear, like ultra big envelope with stuff inside. And I'm like, I'm looking at the library and I'm like, what's that? So she brings it over and it is a tree hunt, um, where they have mapped out trees in the area and they have a book about trees and you find these trees, you look up the trees in this book and then it also had like a measuring tape. You could like measure the tree and do all this
Oh,
stuff.
libraries are so
And we were
cool.
able to check it out for a month.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
How
like
fun.
they have all kinds of things that give your kids an experience and without even being a toy.
Yeah. Secondhand shops, I mean, everywhere from Once Upon a Child to your local consignment stores. I mean, you're always going
Pop-ups.
to love secondhand. Yeah.
There's Riolana, just between friends. Like if you're going for the higher end, so if like Montessori is something that's really important to you, then checking out these secondhand pop-ups where everyone's bringing their high-end toys to resell, that's where you'll find them. And then also there's like some toy library memberships. You can do to the search for USA Toy Library Association. You can pay 30 to 50 bucks a year to be part of like one of these memberships.
Oh, cool. Next category is sports. This is a huge one when it comes to spending. And yeah, again, one of those ones that I see on the outside, not just with money, but with time. We have friends of ours who they have a 6-year old and the dad is coaching the softball or t-ball or whatever it is that he's playing right now. I mean, honestly, probably baseball, and they're probably throwing like 90 mile per hour baseballs at this point. But It's 3 nights a week
For a 6-year-old.
for a 6-year-old. 3 nights a week, and that's for 1 child. And now I know that a hack for a lot of parents is you pick one sport, get all your kids into that sport. But even still, that is an insane commitment of time and money.
It's not so much a hack if your kids don't all like the same thing or
Mhm.
are not the same gender, because different gendered sports may be on different nights or in different locations. But according to our research, or Chad, organized activities such as league sports, dance, music lessons, clubs, all these things, US parents spend an average of $1,000 to $1,500 per child per year on youth sports alone. And over a decade of childhood, that can easily total $10,000 to $15,000. If you're wondering why you can't afford a car, if you're going into massive debt to afford a
Yeah.
car or a down payment, it might be in sports.
Per child per year. I mean, that's if you have multiple kids, that's insane. That's your taxes. That's your insurances. It's so much money. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's a it- it's crazy. And we are admittedly not a sports family. Actually, when I found out I was pregnant with a boy, I was like, what do I do with a boy? Like, I
Mhm.
don't do sports. Travis doesn't do sports. And then I found out was having a second boy, and I was like, dang it, I don't know sports. And luckily, my first one's not good at sports. So it
Probably
wasn't good. It
because you're
wasn't.
not taking them to play.
No, I'm sorry. I tried. I tried because it was kind of like expected.
Right.
We tried swimming, we tried soccer, and then after those two both failed,
Uh-huh.
I tried running, but not enough kids signed up for the running club for them to actually do it. So I actually tried 3 different
Yeah.
sports, and they were all failures. But I anticipate the youngest one will do sports because he climbs so many things.
All right, we've got this video.
Am I the only person that thinks kids' sports have gotten just so out of hand? My daughter is 5 years old. She's going to be 6 tomorrow, and she's in kindergarten. And she does dance and gymnastics. She does it once a week each, and they're like just beginner level classes. It's like kinder hip hop or something like that. And she loves it. She's having fun. But this week, I've received multiple emails from both dance and gymnastics saying she is now at the age where she needs to be getting serious about this sport. She can be joining the team, and if she joins the team, not only is she expected to do multiple classes a week, like 3 to 4 classes a week, she has all these competition expectations. We're expected to pay $300 a month for her to participate, and this is what they're doing for 5-year-olds, or she's about to be 6. 6 years old, and they're asking her to join a team. And I get it. Like, if you want your kids to go to the Olympics, fine, maybe that's what you're doing. But what happened to kids not really getting serious about a sport until high school? Like, I remember I played a different sport every season as a kid, and I didn't really have to pick anything until I got to high school. And that's when I decided on one sport that I really loved, and I started playing club teams and all the travel, etc. But why at 6? Why at 6 is it, 1, so expensive, but 2, expected for them to be like doubling down on the sports that they like? And how are they supposed to pick? She doesn't know what she wants to do. She's 6. She likes doing all of it.
She's 6.
Yeah, and this is a like widespread assumption that at 6 is like when you start getting serious about sports. I have a friend who homeschools, and she's in a co-op, and there are other moms in the co-op that are about to put their kids in school so they can get serious about sports. I was like,
It's
do they understand elementary schools don't have sports teams?
It's wild because I feel like anybody who I would talk to says it's insane. Like we all think it's insane,
Mhm.
but yet we're all still doing it. Like as if we don't have much of a choice. Like the current is already going this way and it's too hard to slow down. You don't want to entirely opt out and get out of the water. You absolutely can't swim against it. And so you might as well just get
Well,
taken away.
it's hard if your kid goes. So, like, one of the ways to decrease your spending in this is to try what Paige said, is like doing a different sport, like every season, doing community rec center stuff. Like, we have the kids in swim lessons, and it's $39 for 8 sessions, right? Whereas our friend is doing private one-on-one swim lessons, and it's over $200, right? It's
Yeah.
neither are bad. One is less expensive. But like when your kids' friends are moving on to the club, not the club, The team, they're heading to the club. They're going to the team. Like, what are you supposed to do? Say like, oh, you can't go with your friends there.
Yeah.
And honestly, like you can say that. If you have them in something, they'll make more friends. They will make new friends. Young kids. Somebody came up to Kai in the pool over the weekend and was just like, hey, you want to play hide and seek or tag or something? That I was like, you shouldn't play that in a pool. And it just like straight up.
I can see.
Right. Like kids are,
Yeah.
and that's good to like train them to like make new relationships, put them in awkward situations.
Yeah. Yes.
To say, I can't play hide and seek in the pool.
And I think that that's part of why there is so much emphasis on getting them involved in some of these group team things, because we want all of it. We want them to be good at stuff and feel confident and have the social skills. And that's why it's happening so young. It's happening so intensely. But I think we are also here to say, yes, and
Yeah.
that there is permission to do that, to pick it, but that you can be intentional about it. And if it's feeling too overwhelming, you are allowed to opt out. You can get out of the current and just sit by the edge of the water for a minute.
Yeah.
You can pick one sport a year. It doesn't have to be one sport a season, even if that's what everybody else is doing. One activity, it's got to be able to work with your family schedule. If you have multiple children, like we can't be so harried and hurried.
Yeah. Because it's your time too. And I think something with this is such a time aspect. Because you can lose your life driving your kids around to sports and practices and games and out-of-state tournaments. You can lose your life.
Yeah. But if it is primarily a money thing, of course, there's like community rec centers that you can take advantage of who will often provide these things at a reduced rate. There's always scholarships that you can apply for. Obviously, that's going to be need-based, but you might be surprised at what
Try it.
the need is and whether or not you potentially qualify for it. And then again, secondhand shopping, because it's not just the memberships, it's the equipment. And the equipment can cost a lot of money. And when the kids are growing out of stuff constantly, this is where secondhand can really come in handy. So there's places like Play It Again. And that's all sports equipment, hand-me-down stuff that you can get. Of course, your thrift stores.
Facebook Marketplace is really good because you've got people who have new stuff or almost new stuff that they can't return, and then they try and sell it on Facebook Marketplace. So used doesn't have to mean decrepit. It can mean almost new, but just a little bit less expensive.
So the final category, the third
Drum
area
roll.
that is costing the most money for parents, parties. This is insane. So a recent industry data indicated that roughly parents spend about $500 on a child's birthday party. And so if you've got over 18 birthdays happening for your child, that's roughly $9,000 on parties alone per child, not including gifts.
Yeah. And it's once you have thought about a party, that really, $500 is pretty accurate.
Yeah, we've got some examples here in this video.
Some people pay more.
Here's everything I'm feeding almost 30 children for my son's 10th birthday, starting strong with my famous Caesar salad.
Late night birthday surprise setup for my dog. 260 balloons and wrapped them to make curlicues. Hung a birthday banner. These bows, custom frame art, her birthday gifts, games, dolls, crafts, pool toys, activities. An underwater camera. Is my 6-year-old the only one asking for a Stanley Cup? I finally got her one and added this adorable keychain. I had to have her dolls join the party, and mini party hats are a must. I may have stayed up until 2 a.m. setting everything up, but seeing my kids' smiles and creating core memories makes it all worth it. The first delivery of the day was this amazing bounce house. The theme for today's party is Barbie, so this pink is perfect. We got a custom decal that says Olivia turns 4 to put.
A few weeks back, the sweetest mama reached out and said, hey, we're looking to hire y'all for our son's upcoming first birthday. We saw the golf baby shower y'all did a few weeks back and are wanting something similar but Masters theme. Rented this backdrop prop and converted it into a custom pro shop filled with hats, towels, trophies, golf balls, clubs, and everything they'll need for the party. The entire food spread was based off of the Masters menu, including pimento cheese sandwiches, chicken salad, moon pies, and more. The clients were absolutely over the moon and said that it was more than they hoped for and that the kids had an absolute blast.
The kids. all for it's for the
It's all
1-year-old
for
kids.
the
And I'm like,
1-year-old kids all had a great time eating pimentos. And that first one, all those kids had a great time eating her famous Caesar salad.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
They love, I don't know about your kids. My kids love Caesar salad.
I mean, these do look like parties I would enjoy going to, but it again is just perpetuating this idea that this is what all of our parties have to look like and going above and beyond. And the statement that got me that I am hearing a lot from people is that whole creating core memories concept.
Oh,
And I
it
feel like
hits.
there's a misunderstanding about how that happens. Like, you don't get to choose what becomes core memories.
Right. It's oh,
Like core memories could just be playing by the creek with your friends every
that's so
summer.
true.
Like, you don't decide your kids' core memories.
This is insane. And okay. So, like, how did we get to this extreme? There's actually a really good explanation that I found.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but what is going on with kids' parties today?
So I am a bakery owner and a cake decorator. And I can tell you right now, I personally know exactly what happened. So when I started cake decorating, and it was for friends and acquaintances, and then slowly people outside of that, it was really cut, dry, simple. We'll put a topper on it ourselves. It's no big deal. The larger that the market for mom bloggers grew, the more insane the cake demands became. Funny enough, at the same time, so I was just cake decorating on the side, but I was a content specialist for a marketing firm at this time, where we were actively constantly studying the hugely booming industry of mom bloggers and just influencers in general. The relationships that mom influencers were growing based on tying themselves to brands that were party centered, kid centered, toy centered, present centered. I'm not even just talking about party city. I'm talking about in their own city. Those giant blow up. If you see a mom influencer and she's talking about, oh my gosh, thank you so much to 901 Games for bringing this whole thing out. That's because they made a brand deal and they got it for free. And it influenced all of the mothers that follow them to do the same because they wanted their kids to have this insanely blown out photography worthy party.
Yeah. It makes so much sense being like starting from financial blogging and being kind of acquainted with mom bloggers. That was like that started 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So like this has been amping up for longer than social media has been a thing. We didn't just get to Masters themed first birthday party from the non-aesthetic parties we were having in the 90s, which I love are actually making a comeback. So there are a lot of ways to say no to the crazy expectations of goodie bags. I saw one girl, I don't think I could play it in the episode because it was a little explicit, but she's like, why am I like getting your kids gifts for my kid's birthday, and then I also have to get my kid gifts.
Yeah.
Right? So like goodie bags and all of like bounce houses.
The stuff. And that's the thing. It's not just social media influence. We influence our own communities too. And so if your kids are around other kids and they're at least going through elementary school together, if this is what we're doing, it feels like that's the kind of party I then have to throw. If that's the parties that my kids are going to, they're going to want that. It just keeps perpetuating. But there are areas that we can kind of put a flag in the sand and say, no more. We're taking it back to the 90s, baby.
Yeah. So my favorite thing, what I do for my kids, and my kids are 2 and 6, so they're young. So this may not work for everyone, but honestly, it could. So for my older one, we go to a playground and I'll buy some food and we will just have stuff at a playground, and I will explicitly say like no gifts necessary, just come hang out, because that can get expensive too when you're going to all these parties and having to get a gift for the kid every single time. That plays into this cost. So no gifts, just come and play date, like big old play date. Or for my younger one, that was a party for us. Like, let's acknowledge that first birthday party was not for the child.
Oh yeah, you're celebrating the parents for being able to keep the kid
Right.
alive for a
So
year.
like,
You made
stop
it. You made it.
lying. Yeah, stop lying to people. And so we had a grill out at our house,
Mhm.
and I got some cocktails, and I
Yeah,
think
it was very fun.
I think I was the only one that drank.
I mean, I was there and I
okay.
joined you. Don't
I
worry.
had so much fun at my party to celebrate keeping my 2-year-old alive for 2 years.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. I also love this idea to do a party on free museum days or free zoo days, that as they're already happening, then you just invite everybody else out. So no one's paying a bunch of money to be able to
Yeah.
enjoy like this really
Give them
cool
a
activity
crown and a
together.
pin so they are like the king or queen of the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they love that.
Who doesn't love that?
They love that.
Check for local community events. If there's like a pop-up puppet show or a story time hosted at libraries or nonprofits, I think that could be also a really cool way to keep your kids entertained and not have to have paid for it.
Yeah, some of these 90s non-aesthetic like parties are so they're skipping the party altogether and doing a special outing or doing just special small things around the house instead of a party. Just like going not viral. So ugly cake, ugly snacks, letting them run around the backyard with the hose.
I mean, it doesn't have to be so extreme and so ugly, but
It can be
doesn't-
extreme. Let's swing the pendulum. Let's try it. Let's try swinging the pendulum in the opposite direction on all this stuff.
That'll for sure be a core memory for the kid. Like my mom just like smashed the cake and then like plopped icing on top.
That's not okay. You're destructive. I'm just
mean,
saying you
did
don't have
say
to.
go extreme.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, let's wrap this up with saying you have permission to say no. I think
Yeah.
so you're not alone. Maybe the people in your community, the people you're seeing on the algorithm that has shown you one video that you slightly interacted with and now has shown you 20 has made you believe that this is the way everyone is doing it, and it is not how everyone is doing it. People are getting their toys secondhand. They're having less toys. They're having simple parties, simple sports. It's happening, and you have permission to say no. You're not alone.
And find people that you follow on Instagram who are also showing these things. I mean, how refreshing is it to look at some of that non-aesthetic, just classic, laid back? Everyone feels more comfortable at
Yeah.
a party like that. So follow those people so that that can be our exposure and our understanding of like what is normal, and start setting the example for others in your community that this is okay. We can just get together and enjoy each other and some of the more free things of life.
But you do not have permission to say no to
The bill of the week.
Hi, Jen and Jill. This is my bill of the week. I just started back to work at JMU for the semester. The semester started up, and I normally would be stressing about what I was going to wear and also buying new things because I felt like I had to have them. This time I did two things different. I have a capsule wardrobe now that I made thanks to you all. And then second, I didn't buy a single thing and put a new outfit together from what I already had, and it looked great, and I got tons of compliments. So all thanks to you all. So thank you so much for your podcast, and I love your book.
Thank you, Charlene. That's so great. I had this incident recently that my mom wanted to buy us all new outfits to go on our cruise. And I was like, we actually don't need new outfits. And she's like, but everybody loves a new outfit. And I was like, well, no, I think we have enough outfits and I'd like to use the outfits we have.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly it. This is the energy that we are bringing.
Yeah.
Is that we have enough.
We have what we need.
And we don't, unless I really want something, I'm not going to buy it just to mark an occasion or just because I'm doing something.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a piece of clothing because I truly love that piece
Just
of
to feel
clothing,
fresh.
not for some other reason.
It is so interesting because usually it's because we're going somewhere we haven't been before, whether it's we're starting a new job or we're going on vacation or we're headed back to school. We are going to be fresh to those people. Like, who is it really for? And I often have to remind myself, I have been to weddings. I have been on vacations. I have started things in the past. What did I wear then? I can wear the same thing again.
Nobody knows that you wore
Nobody's
it
going to
before.
know.
Nobody's gonna know. Yeah.
You can find excitement in it too. Like maybe find a new way of wearing it, but we don't have to buy new. Thank you, Charlene, for that reminder. This is so great. And we love that we inspired you to build out that capsule wardrobe. We did do some episodes on that a while back. So that's very fun. And thanks for liking our book. It's so fun to hear that people read Buy What You Love Without Going Broke.
Yes.
We are so proud of it. If you are listening and you have a bill that you want to submit, if it has to do with not buying things with your hard-earned money bills, or your name is Bill, and you just want to call us up and tell us about yourself, we would love to hear it. Visit frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill to leave us a bill, or click the link below if you're watching us on YouTube. And now it's time for the lightning round.
All right. What was your favorite activity as a kid? What's your core memory that nobody made for you?
Honestly, playing outside.
You're so
If
wholesome.
you were to ask me,
You're so 90s. It's so cool.
I was 90s. So I am 90s. Yeah, if I were to think about my childhood, the majority of it, not to say I was always outside. Of course I watched TV. Of course my mom thought that like the TV was a babysitter for like a good amount of time, of course. But also I spent so much time outside, I think. I remember making video. I mean, that's what I remember,
Yeah.
like there could have been other stuff.
So there you go.
interspersed there,
Your
but
kid's core memory is probably going to be you sending them outside.
yeah. And just making stuff out of dirt and sticks. And like, I remember pretending to make porridge, and then my brother and I would make videos. When like the camcorder came out, we would make our own videos with that and climb trees and go on walks. And
I love that.
yeah. What about you?
My parents wouldn't let me go outside, I think, for fear of
The alligators?
the world. Not even. We didn't live near a body of water. Might have just been the neighborhood. Now that I drive back through it as an adult, I can see why. So my favorite free activity as a kid, core memories that I have, is playing with Barbies.
Oh.
I was an only child, and they were my community. I was actually just talking about that, not the Barbies part, but I didn't have a lot of friends as a young child. When I got into high school is when I like started to have a lot of like good friends. But one of the only ways that I had friends was from the sport I did, ice skating. That was one of the only ways that I had friends when I was really young.
Yeah.
So I do think sports are really important. Ice skating is an expensive sport too. They didn't have a lot of money, and so I don't know why. I do know why ice skating was the sport, because my mom did it when she was young. But choose your sports wisely, because your kid might like it, and might want to continue on with it.
It is important to try things, but that's the thing. We don't have to spend so much on all of the things. We get to pick and choose. If you want to watch another video about de-influencing collectibles, this one's a good one.
Crazy.